What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode. Today, we're going to jump back into fitness and nutrition. We've been doing some sports podcasts lately, but today we're going to get back into health and trying to make everybody live a better lifestyle going forward. I want to make sure that everyone knows that I do offer online fitness and nutrition coaching. It's all through our app. So $99 a month, you can get either plan. The fitness coaching is going to have exercise videos. The nutrition plan is going to have full recipes and grocery lists, which is huge. So you don't have to think about what you're buying. And again, $99 a month. If you're worried about the price, $99, I can cut that out of your grocery bill. No problem. So if that's something you're interested in, you can go ahead and click on the Instagram links and sign up, or you can shoot me a message and we can set up a consultation and talk about that. Now, to begin this podcast today, I want to speak on a few things. I do want to add a faith aspect to this podcast as we go forward. So, I do want to start out stating that I'm a Christian and I believe that we should take care of our bodies. We have one body, and just as God has called us to take care of our families, our jobs, our finances, we also need to take care of our bodies. So, this is an area I believe I can help in, and I don't think the church talks about this enough. The problem or the reason for that is I think they're afraid to offend people. And honestly, like that shouldn't be an issue because that's not the goal. We are concerned about helping people live a lifestyle that they can be proud of and one that lets them assist other people and basically let them live as long as possible and be able to do things that they want to do. So we want to cut out chronic disease as best we can, and to do that we have to talk about fitness and nutrition. So let's start off by going over a couple studies that psychologists around the United States have done. And in the studies, they basically have concluded that there are two main reasons somebody does not exercise. And number one would be they don't care, and number two is that they're lazy. Now, number one, they don't care. That is simply because people don't understand the benefits of a healthy lifestyle and the negatives of an unhealthy lifestyle. I spoke about it in the last podcast with the correlations between strength training and chronic disease, even things like, Alzheimer's disease. You have such a lower risk of developing those when you exercise, along with the ones we already know: type 2 diabetes, heart disease, stroke, things like that. And the second thing being people are too lazy is they don't mean, oh, they just want to sit on the couch all day. Not necessarily. This is saying people don't want to take the time. They don't want to take time cooking. They don't want to take 3 hours a week to go to the gym, which is not that much time. You can spread it out. I don't know anybody that actually works 7 days a week. If you work five, you got 2 extra days that you could get up and spend 1 hour a day exercising. So you could work out twice on the weekends and one time during the week and get those 3 days in. So it's all about getting a plan, sticking with it, and motivating yourself to do it. I do want to go over the three different body types that are that people have, because you do hear a lot of excuses about, oh, so and so has more better metabolism than me. These people have better genetics. Now that is only true about 5%. Okay, this area is something that people need to know, and we're going to get into these along with body fat percentages, because a lot of people go off of BMI still, and that is so outdated, and I don't recommend you following that. So first body type is ectomorph, which is characterized by a lean, slender build with long limbs and narrow frame. A mesomorph is defined by a naturally athletic, muscular, proportionate physique, broad shoulders, and a narrow waist. And an endomorph is characterized by a broader, rounder, stockier frame, and larger bone structure. So different body types do exist, but everybody's healthy weight is different. Okay. Now, the reason I don't want you to go to BMI is because BMI doesn't account for those three body types. You should look at body fat percentage. There are a couple ways that you can do that. The most popular is going to be probably the InBody scale. A lot of people use that in gyms and doctors' offices, but just know that that gives you a range. Those things, they can be off. The One of the more accurate ways that you can do it is through skin fold calipers. Any trainer should be trained on how to use one of those. This can take 5 minutes. Plug the numbers in a calculator and you'll get your body fat percentage. And if it's done correctly, you will get a lot more accurate reading than an InBody scale. So we're going to go over the numbers on what body fat percentages should be. Now, women, you do need more percentage body fat than a man. For essential body fat, men need to be 5% and women need to be 10%. I don't try to tell anybody to get to those numbers. I want you to be slightly above that. I tell everybody to fit in the athletic category, which is men 6 to 17% and women 14 to 24%. They do have a normal range or an acceptable range, 18 to 24 for men and 21 to 31 for women. Anything over 25 for a man is obese, and anything over 32 for a woman is obese. But you shouldn't fall into the acceptable. There's no reason somebody should not fall into the athletically fit category. And with the proper nutrition and exercise plan, you can achieve those. So I'm going to do a little exercise here, and we pulled these numbers from the United States Department of Agriculture. They estimate that the average American consumes 3,600 calories per day. So we're going to say that there is a fictional 40-year-old man who is 5'11" and weighs 190 pounds. This man is going to have an average resting metabolic rate of 1,877 calories. And that is to say, if he were to sit in a chair all day long and not move, that's how many calories his body is going to burn. We are going to say that he burns 500 calories a day doing normal life activities, which would put him at a total calorie burn of 2,377 calories for that day. If he were to consume the average 3,600 calories that Americans intake each day, he is going to gain 2.4 pounds per week, which is equivalent to 127 pounds a year. That's only at 3,600. And with today's foods that people are consuming, that number is probably a lot higher for most individuals who are in the overweight category. So you can just imagine one reason we are so out of shape in America is simply because of nutrition. So it is very important. Make sure you take it seriously. They have done studies to where they even fed people high sugar diets, but if they're at a caloric deficit, they still lose weight. Now, that's not healthy. It's not what I recommend. Macronutrients do matter, but this matters more for your body composition and your overall health, internal health. So, macros, proteins, carbs, and fats. Most people need to have a high protein, high fat, low carb diet. You do need carbs, but you need the right carbs. And we can go over that with any nutrition plan if you do sign up for that. Before I get into different foods, I want to hit a topic that is, I'm going to say it's controversial right now, but honestly, it shouldn't be. That is the GLPs that everybody is doing. Anytime somebody takes anything that messes with hormones in your body, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a pharmacologist. I'm not saying those drugs don't do things that help people. I don't know. But one of the things that it does is suppresses ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone. If you suppress that and you don't change your eating habits, all you're going to do is feed your body sugar, and you're going to get less nutrient dense food than what you were getting before. The weight may come off just because you're in a caloric deficit, but you're going to open yourself up to a whole lot of other issues. One being just you're going to have less muscle mass. And as we talked about in the last podcast, that's going to increase your risk for Alzheimer's. It's going to increase your risk for falls as you get older. It is going to increase risk for heart disease, stroke. There's so many things that muscle mass does for you outside of trying to look good or anything like that. It is very, very important for longevity, and that should be everybody's goal: is live a long, healthy lifestyle. Now, these drugs, I say that they're nowadays equivalent to what everybody used to do with the stomach surgeries. I'll say anything before a couple of years ago when these drugs came out, you saw a lot of people that they would be good for a little while, but if they didn't address their healthy or unhealthy lifestyle and the root causes of that, whether it be mental or what, I don't know what all issues are out there people struggle with, but this, all it does is people go back to where they were. So we really need to get down to the root and educate people on how you should exercise and cook food, because this is going to be important for your long-term goals. Don't look for a short-term benefits and something that's easy that you can do. So I don't recommend them. Again, I'm not a doctor, so for each person, that is between you and your doctor. I just firmly believe these drugs are overused, overprescribed, and it's an easy way out for people that just don't want to take the time and do things in a healthy way. So that's all I'm going to say about those. But now I want to get into what are 3 foods to avoid if you are trying to lose weight. Number 1, sodas and high sugary drinks. We all know the more sugar you eat, the more your body craves it. The issue here is your body can use glucose as its main energy source, but your body goes through that very quickly. Okay. So anytime you do that, your body burns that energy and then it says, I need more. Sugar is a high caloric food. So anything that has a lot of sugar to it, you're going to consume so many more calories than what you need. And you're not going to get nutrient dense foods. You're not going to get enough proteins or anything like that. And then you're going to lose muscle mass. You're going to gain body fat. And then you're going to open yourself up again to a whole lot of issues. So avoid sodas, high sugar drinks if you're trying to lose weight. The second one is fried foods. These are calorie dense, loaded with trans and saturated fats. Anytime foods are cooked at such high temperatures, they can create harmful compounds. And this is going to cause body wide inflammation and is going to significantly increase your chances for chronic disease, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and yeah, that's it. But the chronic disease one is so important because there's so many different things that fall under that category. So avoid fried foods as much as possible if you can. Number three is refined foods, white breads, white pastas. And the reason you should avoid these is because they're refined flour. And during this process, those foods are stripped of fiber, protein, and essential nutrients, which cause rapid digestion, causes your blood sugar to spike, which is going to lead to energy crashes and increased cravings. Again, your body's just going to tell you you need more when if you would just eat nutrient dense foods, you wouldn't need that. So make sure you cut out that as much as you can. There are healthy options for bread and pasta. So again, something we could talk about in the nutrition coaching if you sign up for that. To end this podcast, I want to say a few things on exercise. Now, people are going to fall into two different categories. You're either an athlete or your general population. There is no in between. If you're an athlete, you need to train for the sport that you are competing in. Okay. For instance, if your sport requires you to be more powerful, you do not need to do workouts that are going to target more type 1 muscle fibers. If you're general population, your goals need to be longevity and what you're going to be doing when you're 80 years old. It's great if you have a goal to bench 315 pounds, but if you're risking tearing your shoulder up, that is not healthy and you're going to regret that long term. So, really, we need to change what your perception of health is and say, my goals need to be surrounded on living a long, healthy lifestyle. Now, if your general population, again, like I said in the beginning, 3 times a week, if you work out for 45 minutes, you can get a 10-minute warm up, 10-minute stretch, and you can hit enough weight training machines to make a difference. Okay. You can hit goals that you set with doing that 3 times a week and having a healthy nutrition. The stretching piece, extremely important. As we get older, we want to maintain our mobility and make sure we're not at risk for tearing any muscles because, again, as we age, it's harder to recover from those things, especially as arthritis and other things like that come up. So make sure you stay mobile. And if you don't think stretching is important, start it when you're young and continue it through the rest of your life. Now, that was a quick overview. We are going to get into certain things specifically. Like I said, the types of food that to avoid if you're trying to lose weight. I'm really going to dive into that on upcoming episodes. But I hope today you've kind of got a broader respect of what needs to be done if you're trying to make a lifestyle change. And I want to make sure you knew that I'm available. There are other fitness professionals available. If you need to make a lifestyle change, please reach out to somebody and get that help because a year from now, it's going to be the best decision you ever made. So I appreciate you listening, and we're going to have more sports podcasts to come. But until then, thanks and have a good night.